All right, what's going on, everyone? It's been a couple of weeks since I've had the chance to stream. I was traveling all last week, so it was hard to get on here and do anything. This mic is right in my face. I guess this will work. Yeah, so I was out traveling last week, got back late on Friday, so I didn't even have the chance to do anything later in the week last week. So we're here now. Been waiting to get back to this project and actually do something with it. So I'm excited to work through that. And we're going to continue where we left off last time, where we're going to build out our industry pages. And so at the end of last time, I was talking about potentially creating a new collection, but I thought about it some more and I really don't want to create a new collection, especially when all of what I'm going to do with these industry pages is just the same thing as a regular page. So what I'm going to do instead of a new collection, let me see if I can jump over here. We're not going to create a new collection. What we're going to do is use the parent page field, which I said last time that I didn't see myself using. We're going to use that parent page field to query data based on what would be a collection here. So I guess we can just go add that real quick to our pages config. So if I come down to our pages collections, I can just go to, I need to rename this to config anyway. So let's go ahead and refactor, rename. This is now config, refactor. Oh, I need to move my camera. Put me right there. Cool. Yeah, because I'm looking that way now. All right, so we are going to use our parent page, which is telling me that I actually don't need to be where I am right now. Hold on, let me close this. Let's take a look over here on our pages. Yeah, because we already have the parent page, so we can leave that how it is. But what we'll need to do is have this the home page and all other pages. Ugh, man, now we got to think about that too, because what needs to happen is in the query we need to be able to choose the query of the parent blog, so or the parent page. So that means that we can't actually, and it's the same thing that we're running into before, where here we have the full, like this is our template, and then if I come over here we import or export the page template and the metadata. So the problem then is that I don't have a way to set the slug. So if we were to do something like that, where we have like industry be industry be what I want to query, I can't do that with a template. So I run into the same issue, which tells me that regardless of what I'm going to do, I need to add either a collection or just forget about using this template. So what would be easier? Well, honestly, adding the collection would be better, because then we can use other fields that aren't included in our page template. So let's do that. So we'll create a new directory that we'll call industries. We'll have a new TypeScript file that we'll call config.ts. And then we're just going to take the pages, honestly, and let's stop our server from running. And we have our pages here, which then we don't need parent page. Oops. Which is just a shame, because I really want that to work. And I suppose we could, but then we need to change the template. But maybe it's worth it. So let's give it a shot. So if we do industries, real estate. Oh, I stopped our server. Let this load up. And so the problem with what is happening right now is that this will also work, which I don't want it to. So we need to make sure that we always have it be industries, real estate, which means then that we need the industries. We got pages. We need to have industries slug. Okay, which is what we have now. And so this is going to take the same thing here. This is the template again. And so we got to figure out then because what happens is if we just change this to, honestly, I don't even know what the big deal is here. So if I have it be domain name, industries, real estate, and then that's what I'm linking to all the time, chances are people will never end up at a page like this, and it's not going to break. And I don't ever see the point of ever having like real estate by itself here, so I don't think that that would be an issue either. So maybe, just maybe, I don't actually need to worry so much about that. But let's take a look here. So if we were to go to this main page here, I wonder why this is still ignored. Don't need it to be ignored anymore. Great. So page blocks. Okay, so that's still, we'll work on these errors later. I'm still re-familiarizing myself with the project after 2 weeks of not doing this. All right, so we have here the slug defaults to home. So what happens though is if I don't have the industries, when I have the params, I'm seeing an array of params rather than just the single params that I have here. So that would mean that I need to break out how this query is done, which shouldn't be too difficult. So query page by slug down here, because the where is going to be slug equals slug. And I'm just trying to do too much finagling. Okay, so I'm not going to worry about it. I think it's good how it is with the having industries here be what I'm linking to. So if I come here and link to small business into real estate, it's fine. So I think I'm overthinking this, and I think that's okay. So what we can do though is continue to build out our industry pages. But with one thing that I want to do is use a blog feed with our categories. And so that is going to be down here. We have feed already created. We don't need this types, so I'm going to delete this. Oh, I don't even know if I have... Oh, that's what this is here. Okay, so let's refactor rename, and this is going to be index. No, it's not. Hold on, cancel. It's going to be... Oh, I need a config in here. Okay, so let's do a new file, config.ts, hit add. So what is this? All right, so all of this is junk, honestly. Yep, so we will wait to delete that, but that would be the component. Okay. So all of this needs to be redone. Regardless, I need the config, and just to make sure, yep, okay, so I don't have any feed to add there. All right, so this is going to be a block, and here's the config. I'm just going to copy this because I think some of it's going to be the same. Come down here to our feed, and so what this is going to do is it's going to add a at the bottom of a page, it'll have related blogs or something similar to that on our industries pages. So here, we're going to have const be feed. We'll have the slug be feeds. Yes, it'll have a header section. It'll also have an activate checkbox with the default to true. It doesn't need buttons though. And then our interface name will be feed. We'll call it specifically post feed. Yeah. All right, and then this, all it's going to need is a radio button. Name of, so we'll do feed to add, and then we can do type via radio, and then we will do options, and we can set an array of options, which for now we're just going to have one option. We'll just do label blog value blog. So now we can save that. We can come down to our pages. Yeah, so we really don't need a collection here. We can always come back to it if we want to do a separate collection for industries, but I just can't see myself doing that with everything literally being the same as other pages. It just doesn't make sense. All right, so then we go to our pages, config, and we need to find our blocks field. Well, that didn't work. All of these blocks, well, I guess we can do import feed. What is this saying? Oh, import feed. I think it's not a named feed, or a named, my brain is broken. All right. Component, this is feed segment, so that's the wrapper of the block, but I can do that differently. So this is exporting default, so I just want to export, oh, that's the CTA. This one, export, don't think I need that, and I can just do export const feed. And let's keep this as feed block, just to make it much more readable there. Hit save. Come back over here to our pages, and we can do feed block. And then we need to come down to our blocks. Blocks. And then, that's not what I wanted. Feed block. Okay. So now what we can do is go to our local host. Oh, admin. Oh, I get to try a new thing. I forgot. Since I'm not going to deploy this, at least not right now, there is a way to just do auto login. So I'm going to try and do that real quick. That way I don't have to keep logging into this. So if I scroll on down, I need to look at the docs for this. PayloadCMS, auto login. So we can set this at our build config. So it's not an admin, so it should just be right here. I can do config auto login. It's not in fields, so that should just work, but let's find a different place for it. So maybe I need to do it in my authentication stuff. So let's scroll on down. Oh, there we go. Auto login is actually in our admin, which is what I thought. So I'm just going to do yeah, I didn't think that was going to be the case. So I'm going to have to do well, I think this is, yeah, it's the payload dev thing. So I'm not too concerned about sharing that username and password. So I should just be able to do these, which will then, where's my auto login? Down here somewhere. There we go. And so now, if I refresh, there we go. Automatically logs me in. Don't have to worry about it anymore. Love that for me. All right, so now, what were we doing? We were coming over to our pages. This is going to be a problem when we get other pages. But anyway, so we'll figure that here in a second. So we've got our real estate. We're going to go to our content, and then we'll just add a block at the end of our content and do our feed, which I want to change the name of that. So let's change this to feed block, feed blocks. Save that. This should go away. Add block, feed block. So then we can say more content around real estate. Then we can do content feed, not deed, feed. And then we're just going to use the feed to add blog there. So I'm going to save that, and then we can come over to our real estate, and nothing's going to pop up yet because we need to add the block. So we're going to design this, and then we're going to think through how we really want to do this industries pages, whether it's a new collection or if I need to do dynamic fields or optional catch-all. I could see how hold on, let me move this up and over. Move this down a little bit. All right. So I could see the value in having the optional catch-all, but we'll see. I like having it as industries. I think is going to be important as the site builds. I can't predict the future of what the site will look like, so I don't want to assume that there won't just be a real estate page, or there won't be a industries real estate and a portfolio real estate. So there's just too much at risk there to not figure out a way to do either the category or a catch-all statement or a catch-all dynamic path. So some things to figure out there, but I can always do that in a minute. So we've got our component here. We've got an index.tsx, which we can then, instead of having children here, I can, so it's got the section there. I can then do, let's get rid of children. So this shouldn't need any props. It'll need a prop. I think it'll need blocks. So type will be props equals feed, post feed is what it's called. Yep, sure is. Okay, post feed, and then we can do props. Props, don't need the React element part there. That should be all we need. So now we should be able to, I don't even think we need the props. No, we need, because what the part that we need is just the category. So const category equals, oh, I need to think this through too. All right, but we know that it's going to be props dot feed to add, and so feed to add category feed to add. Yeah, so I'm going to get the category, and then the category is going to determine what I query. So that means that this is going to need to pass down into a map to, so I may have to query in this segment to see those posts, or I just need to send the block. So the block needs to go on this page like it is, and then it's going to need to take cards. The cards are going to be determined. So the feed does need to be what is querying. Totally fine. That works. All right. So we will then come up to our posts. So let's find our post blog page. So what I'm looking for is, do I have query blog? That I do. All right, so this is what I'm looking for. So I'm going to use this, and this would be something that I would want to take out of the flow of the code and just use it as a utility function or something. But we'll start with this. So we'll query blog is going to query the collection where slug, which is what we'll define because the slug is going to be to the category. Feed to add, which if we come here, we can see what the feed to add is going to look like. So it'll be content. Okay, so then content feed to add, which is just the lowercase blog. That's perfect. Okay. So it can have more, but what it'll do is we can do our const of query, which will be, again, we're just going to take our query blog from up here because there's no real reason to reinvent the wheel. Slug limit sort, which is, let's go ahead and blog query component. All right. So this needs to be an async function because of that, so we can await. And then this is going to be equal to category and category there. This category and then date. Yes, that still needs to be something that's a published post. And then we're going to get a response, which is going to query the blog with a limit sort, which we're going to do a limit of 3. But we can save this. Then we need to go to our posts and actually create some. Well, not even create. We'll just add these categories. So let's go here. Categories. We'll create these categories. We'll call this one real estate. Then we will create a new one that we'll call small business. And then we will go to our posts. We'll go into each of these, and we'll change this one to have a category of real estate. This one, oh boy, we'll have a category, as soon as I can get to it, of small business. And then we'll do this one to be also a category of real estate. So I can save all those. Oh, thanks, Brian. Yeah, it's been wild to actually see it grow. There's one day I got like 20 new subscribers, and I didn't even post a video that day. So it's been really interesting. I guess this really was a need that needed to be met, and so I'm glad to fill that need with something that I actually think I understand, so I think it's important. All right, so we've got our blog query equals category, date, and then I think I can sort. Yes, I can sort. So I also want to make sure I sort by negative date. So that should be in descending order. And then let's go ahead and just log the response for now. So we'll log response. And then I guess I have to refresh to see. Oh, I haven't brought this in yet. All right, so let's go ahead and add this to our render blocks. Wherever that is it a component? It is not. It is. Where? Components. Render blocks. There it is. Index. All right. So we've got all of these. Then we have a now feed. So import feed segment. Block components feed. What is the feed segment called? Oh, I don't even think it's feed segment that I want. So feed index. It is feed segment. Okay, perfect. So we take in feed segment. Oh, but I need the slug of the component, which should just actually be feed. Feed segment. And then that should render out my blocks. We'll see in a second. That should add. It won't add anything here, I don't think. Okay, so let's try generating types real quick. Okay, pm dev. I'm hoping that that error was just because I tried to do something without turning off the server. Okay, maybe not. What do we have here? So what is this supposed to be? So not that. Okay, what is this telling me? Well, it's definitely something with the feed, so I got to figure that out. It's because if I get rid of that, everything else should work. Yeah, so it does. And if I go to contact, just to make sure it's not the form that's an issue, it's not. All right, so the issue is whatever is going on. We go to industries, real estate. So block components, blocks feed component. I don't need this, but maybe I need that feed to add and not actually feed segment. No, because that's this here. So let's just go ahead and delete this. I don't think it's going to be important. Okay, so deleted with the render blocks. Feed segment, so we have our... So I don't know if it's actually feed then. So what is this? It is slug feed. So that should mean that... Yes, let's see. I'm confused by this. Props feed, post feed, promise. I wonder. So let's go to our feed here. And since I don't have anything there, but that's okay. I've just got these props. Let's go ahead and delete the props for... I need the props, though, for the feed to add. Alright, well, let's look at one thing that I know is working. So FAQ block, yes, all of this is right. Component. Yeah, so everything should be right, which tells me that maybe I just need to restart a bunch of times until it works. Render blocks. Feed segment. And then let's go up to our rich text converters. Do I have the block converter in here? Yes. Okay. Let's take a look over here and do... We need to add a new type. So for import feed block, blocks feed config, that's correct. Which tells me then I can do feed. Nope. Well, it is the type, so that is what I'm looking for. But then here, feed is going to need node feed segment node dot fields. And let's see what happens. Failed to compile. All right. So what is going on here? I don't know why this opened so many times. Oh, because I did that, duh. Alright, so... Wow, this really broke something. So let's go ahead and get rid of this. And see if we can get it working in our... anywhere. Weird. Okay, are we working? No, we're still getting errors. So is there something wrong with my feed segment? So if I get rid of that, got rid of that. Yes, there is. Okay, so we got to figure that out then. So let's go ahead and open this up a little bit wider. Just gonna make my life a little more difficult when I go to edit this, but that's okay, because I just need to be able to look and see what's happening here. So bring this up a little bit too. Okay, so what do we have going on? So we've got our feed segment. Oop, that was the wrong button. And it's this one that's broken too, I assume. So if I refresh this, this goes away. Yes, okay. So very clearly something is wrong with this feed. And so what I'm trying to do right now is troubleshoot why this blog, so I have a little radio button now that will allow me to, ideally, set a category here for real estate. And then in our content, rich text, I can then add a block. Oh, I don't want to do this in a post though. In our pages, we can go to our real estate page, for example, and come down here and add a feed block, which I can then use this to add a set of blog cards for this page using whatever category is set here. But don't know why that's not working. So let's take a look then. So we can go to our feed config. It's a slug, it's feed. And then I wonder also if I want to do a categories drop down, but we'll finagle that a little bit later. So then we've got our post feed interface name, and all of that should be right. Everything looks good in the config. I'm happy with that. So our converter is what we're trying to figure out. And so here, easiest thing to test is just to get rid of our response here. Leave that how it is, and then I should be able to uncomment that. Okay. So why though? Let's comment this out and see if that helps. It does. All right, so I think there's something wrong with how we're querying things then. So instead of this, let's just, let's leave that commented out. We will do const payload equals await get payload config. I don't know how I forget to do this stuff all the time. It's config promise. All right, config promise. And then we're going to get const blogs equals await payload find collection, and we'll just do posts and log this just to see what happens. So this is clearly something is happening with a client component, and for some reason I'm not able to see any kind of response here. So where is feed segment being used? Only in two places. It is a server component, so that's not an issue. And it's only being used here. And then let's take a look at our show blocks again, or render blocks rather. Go to our converters. Let's go ahead and comment this out. Comment out. And so here we have block type, so I need to figure that out. So go over here, let it reload and get me back in. And so we can look here at our block type. And I want to look for feed. Block type is feed. So instead of feed segment, this should just be feed, as I thought. And then feed segment component. Failed to compile. This is also a server component. All of this is not client, so none of this should really be an issue. It's always something, you know? Okay. So, and then again, just so it's very clear, getting rid of that fixes that. And then what I can do is in our, where'd my feed go? Under blocks, no, I'm looking for component, there it is. So then I can get rid of this, keep hitting the wrong button. Then I should just be able to add something like test. And when I do that, and then add our segment back in, I imagine that this is going to work. Yeah, so test. All right, so there's definitely something going on with how we're querying data. And I don't really know what it is, but that's kind of a big part of what this component is supposed to do. So what the feed needs to do is just take cards and pass in the data. So I can honestly set, can I do this? So I have the feed, which needs to take the category. Well, the category is going to be determined at the query level. So, what I need to do is have these blocks query. This shouldn't be an issue because it should just be doing based on the category of what I'm providing. So let's make sure payload generate types. Let's make sure all of that stuff is good. Payload generate import map. All right, so all of that stuff was good. But now we're not seeing the ability to query anything within our component file here. And so now if I save this, let's see what happens. Yep, so it breaks again. So then what we need to do is pass up, or pass down rather, the cards here. So we have our post card, which we can then do card row. This is the problem though, because I'm not going to be able to, using a block, I'm not going to be able to determine what those cards are going to be unless I query them here. And I swear I've done this before, so I don't know why it's not working. All right, well, let's go ahead and do that. So I can't call payload at all in here. So as soon as I get rid of payload, it just works. Okay. Well then, what do we do? So we've got our test working. Can't do anything with payload. And then, just to make sure, let's log our props and see what we get. Block type is feed. We get a header section, so that is easy to add. We can come down here and do header. Props.header section. And then if I refresh that, this will work automatically. Yep, there you go. So then we can do if active. Oh, this needs to be props.active. So then it'll show up. And then we can set our ID to be props dot. Oh wait, this is already added into the header. Then that should be it. So then, all right, well, let's try this out then. So at the lower level, we'll have a new component in our feed components, wherever that may be. Text. So where have I been building this? Postcard, redirects, rich text, blocks. Oh, that's all components. So I'm down in blocks, which is where I should be. All right, so then where did my section go? Oh, I deleted it. That's where it went. All right. So we hit that, and then we're going to hit a new TypeScript, and we'll do feed item, or I guess feed.tsx. I don't know. This should just work in one file, but for some reason it's not. So then we're going to do export async function. Yeah, I guess get feed makes sense. And then we're going to take in a string that's going to be feed to add. And then here we're going to try and query payload. So let's start with that. So I know that's going to break stuff if I let it refresh. Let's do all of this actually. Take all of that. Come over here to our feed and just see what happens. First we need to come here and then add test. So this needs to be get feed. Save component. Do get feed. Oh boy. Export async function get feed. Feed to add. Import, don't know why that didn't happen before. And then I need to do our props dot feed to add. Now what? Oops. So it's the same thing, even when it's down a level. How strange. What else is this error? Not that it really matters because I'm still getting an error. Cannot be used as a JSX component, not a JSX element type. Oh, I think part of the problem here is I need to return something. Sure. But now, like, I still just get this error. And it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. This is why live coding drives me crazy. Like, this should be something that should not be this hard, but for some reason, whenever you go live stream on YouTube, this just kind of stuff happens. But as soon as I get rid of that query, it just works automatically. So I would have to find a way to add that content to this block without querying payload at the component level for whatever reason. Not exactly sure why. I have a feeling that it's a NextJS problem. So let's take a look and figure out what's going on. So got if props active. So if it's active, it'll return something. But for some reason, it won't return anything that has payload in it. What version am I on? 3.16. I don't think this is going to be what fixes it, but I don't need upload thing. Let's just make sure. So we'll go to the newest version, even though I haven't done a video on 3.20 yet. And then we can do pnpmi. Okay. So we'll let those be installed. Refresh. Hope for the best. Okay, yep, so that still doesn't work. I see all the errors coming up here, so that's right there. Okay, so I need to use the bathroom. So I'm going to go do that real quick. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I don't know if my music's still playing, though. Weird. Should be playing. Hello, music. Did I hit something when I left? Why is everything breaking, friends? Not anything with the volume. All right, well, let's keep on moving. I keep hearing that the music's not necessary anyway. All right, so I see this other error, mismatching lexical dependency. I don't think I have lexical installed separately. If I do, I will get rid of it. So I did that, and we'll try this again. So do pmpmi. Oh, technology drives me crazy sometimes. Music's back. Wait, I deleted lexical. Or did I delete something else? Okay, well, hold on. So I don't really want 3.20. So let's change that back to where we were, since it's not something that actually fixed my issue. So for future reference, do not install lexical separately. You should let it be just installed through the rich text lexical package here from PayloadCMS. Otherwise, you get some mismatching stuff. Okay. So here we need to think through what we need to do for this feed, which I did not expect to spend this much time on. And so what I'm trying to do is on this page, like real estate or for small business, I want to be able to take the slug, which in this case is real estate, and use that to query my post category, which will then allow me to just include content there. But what it's seeming like, and for some reason, I don't know why, it seems like I'm going to have to either create a new collection, which will allow me to, instead of using a block, use just regular JSX code without having like our block editor, or figure out how to make this work. So we'll see what we can do, because as soon hold on. So that works. I don't see any blogs coming through though, which tells me, okay, so I have get feed commented out. So what's happening now is get feed is breaking this. Because module not messages. Oh, that's theirs. And the problem is in get image size. Source blocks feed component feed.tsx. I go there, yep. All right, so then it's also in feed component, which is there. Render blocks, index, and then it goes, okay. So I wonder then if the issue is actually in my forms. We can do blocks here. And I think then so let's go to message fields message. Okay. Form state. Nope, so it's not going to be anything there. So why? So form, if we go to our message index, serialized lexical is just the wrong thing in general. I don't want to talk to you, Siri. So this actually, so maybe this is the issue, maybe it's not. But this needs to be our rich text. And then we need to do data. Message. Okay. So that's fixed there. And then let's do it again in our... Okay, so there's something going on. I need to take this over here. I think my old serializer is still showing up. Serial... It sure is. So, and I'm doing the search everywhere, which I just recently discovered in JetBrains software, that you can't filter out anything that is like all of your private information. So if I were to search for something, I can actually make sure that it's not true here. Using the search everywhere function here, hopefully. Sometimes my API keys can show. So I wanted to make sure that that wasn't happening. So we just need to get rid of all these serialized lexical. So this should be rich text. And I thought I did this like twice now. And they just keep showing up. And then get rid of all that. Then here, need to do globals dot sticky banner dot content, and then this type check needs to actually be brought out. No, wrong way. Maybe it's not the wrong way. Okay. Let's just do it this way. Oh, too far. Type check should be up here. Perfect. It's all the same. Wrong. There we go. Cool. This is the actual thing, so that can stay for now. And then this should be rich text. I swear I did this already. I don't know what's going on. This should be data. Get rid of that. That. All right, look at that. All right, so we're making good progress. I feel dumb sometimes with this, but that's okay. I don't have to be smart all the time. Sometimes with NextJS and Payload, you can feel like a glutton for punishment, because things just don't work like they're supposed to sometimes. All right, so that means I don't need this. We've got our test. So now we should be able to use our query blog here. Come up to get our category. And so now when this refreshes, that's my fault. I need to see what, let's close some of these things. I need to see what the actual field is called. It may not actually be category. So in our posts, and then why? Yeah, so it's called category. I guess maybe it needs to be in category. Here, let's just get some things querying real quick. Cool. So I can see that I have 3 out of 6 docs, put a limit to 3. And then I can map those out like we've done before. So now we want to make sure that we have, so category dot slug. So category, so it's going to be, the problem though is that category can be many, so this isn't going to work. So let's take a look up here. Oh, it's not even category. It's not meta though. It's content. So content.category.slug. I think I get contains, right? I don't actually think so. Maybe I do. I just saw, oh, slug there. What is this saying now? Okay, we'll figure that out in a second. So let's log our docs 0, and we'll do content. See what we get. Perfect. So we have content, and then we have category. So contain is the issue. All right, so let's go back to our docs, and we'll do query local API. Not what I said. Local API. And then this, okay, let's go ahead and extend this out a little bit more. What I'm looking for is actually our queries, overview, local API. It's contains, not contain. Category, which is the slug. Come back to just the response. All right, we get 0. So contains content category slug. We'll make sure that that's actually right. So we've got category, which is under content. So content category slug, and then contains must contain the value entered. So then let's go ahead and log category. We get blog. Okay, that is the problem. All right, so we're not actually trying to work with this category. What we're trying to actually get is the slug of the brain isn't working again of this real estate. So this needs to be real estate, which will then give me the docs that I want. It's 2 total docs there. All right, so the problem though now is that I need to get the params or the page path But I think I can actually... No, I can't get params from here. So I definitely need the page path, which means that I need to make this into a client component. So that tells me that I need to pass this query down a level in order for this to work properly. So or yeah, so why don't we do this? Instead of trying to be way too extra, let's go here to our posts, and in our post config, or page config, because that's what I'm actually trying to do, in our feed block, we can do a new field. We'll just do name, and we can do feed category. In here we can do type of relationship, do relation to, yes, categories. And then here we could do has many. So if it's something that has multiple categories, we can search on that as well. So now we've got something with feed category, relationship to categories. And then if we wanted to get real fancy, we could, we're not even supposed to be in posts. If we go to our pages and then we go to real estate, we could even do a way to filter these out based on the slug here. And so I don't think I want to work with that right now. So we're just going to hit real estate there. And then this is going to take feed category. So then I can come here, which I don't actually need this anymore. So let's go ahead and delete that. Hit OK. Come over. Oh, I can add this back. Excellent. So that should be working again. Our render blocks we saw is working just as it should be. Don't need our package open anymore. So here, I think I may need to generate types, but we'll see what happens if I do. So this is going to come in handy if it's not even category, it'll be like feed type. So feed type. So that way I can do if feed type equals blog, and then I can do blogs of this category. But we'll worry about that later. If there are other content types that get created, like white papers or anything like that, just assuming that this would be an enterprise website. But now I can do props.feedCategory dot so okay, so I need to map out the feed category real quick, so I can do const categories, and I can set that equal to props.feedCategory.map, and then do category, and then this is going to be our category dot slug. Sometimes things import like you want it to, and then other times they don't. Import type category. Then I believe I need to wrap this in parentheses. There we go. And then this is going to be categories. I think I can do... Yeah, actually, I think that's fine still. Nope. This again. Loving this error life. Import map just in case. All right, so none of that should have mattered, but let's change this to in. Let's go ahead and log our categories. I don't need feed type anymore. So there's definitely something going on here. So get rid of that. Or maybe there's not, and I have to go into each of these again. So let's do rich text converters index, rich text index, FAQ block. So let's start there. FAQ block item index. Don't tell me. No, it's rich text. That's right. And there's no serialized lexical. So then we can go to our components rich text index. Components rich text index. And then we can go to our converters index. And I don't see anything that's worth looking into here, so that's confusing. So let's come back here. And go ahead and just, I guess, get rid of that for a minute. Oh, config.ts, that, I didn't check that. Payload config. Search for some right image. Hold on, let's take another look here. Whoops, see, that's what I was afraid of. All right, serialize. Get rid of that again. And that's the actual thing. Okay. So what's going on now? Nothing in there, nothing there, nothing there. Okay, feed, index. I am confused. This stuff drives me crazy, man. It was just working. All right, well, the only thing we changed here, I guess there's a few things, so let's just back it up. Oh, hold on. Okay, restart the server. My brain is breaking. All right, so here we have the problem. Import trace comes all the way down to our blocks FAQ block component item index.tsx. If I go here, is it because rich text is not use client? That's gonna add some issues if it is the problem. Because I don't think you can have server components in client components. Source blocks form component. Well, this one is use client. So that's definitely not an issue. Rich text index. Excuse me. Again. Oh boy. Alright, so we're going to take just another quick look at this. And then I think we need to call it quits. I'm kind of losing focus here. So, what is going on? Import. Oh, so hit that. And then is there another rich text? Yes, there is. I guess we can just take all of this out. And then what? Component. Category slug. Let's go ahead and get rid of that real quick. Failed to compile. Failed to compile. Table of contents component index. Oh, there it is. Okay. So I have a feeling that my rich text needs to be used client in order for it to be used in client components. Form component again. Rich text. But now that's not even in there. Okay, so then form fields message. Okay, so there's a few deeper issues here that we need to work through. And I was not expecting the rich text component to be one of them. Because then that means it needs to be used at the very lowest level, but I don't know if that's an issue, so hold on. First, let's see in our website template here, we then have our components, rich text index. And so they don't have it as a use client. So I'm thinking that this is not actually something that is an issue, but for some reason I'm facing it. So and I wonder if they have anything that would be use client that's using this. So let's take a look. Page client, use client. That doesn't matter. Hosts. I'm just taking a look at what they've done here to make sure that my rich text is not messing stuff up here. So slug URL slug. Rich text, yes, that's what I have. Yeah, this really can't be an issue. So I am going to undo this. I think I'm thinking a little too deeply about what's going on. Oops. That should be fine. Form message. Because everything was working before I went into this. Nope, that still goes away. Then table of contents, you should be good now. Yes, okay. Okay. All right, well, this isn't a great place to end, but I think I need to, because I'm starting to lose it a little bit. I really don't think that the issue is that it is a server component. Well, it may be. Let's take a look at the Next.js docs. So Next.js, client component in, we're actually server component in client component. So this is telling me something that I already know. So can I use a server component and a client component? Be just more specific. Okay, so it may actually be a problem. I don't know why, I'm just figuring it out now. So that means I actually need to change a bit of a pattern as well. So that's for another to-do. So this is not a great stream, but that's okay. They can't all be perfect. So we need to continue doing this. And well, hold on just a second here. So if we go to the form builder example here, so we've got our components. They have rich text. That looks familiar. Okay, index. Okay, so their rich text does not have use client. And then if we go to their message, they've got rich text, which is different actually. Rich text from up a level, up a level, up a level, rich text. And that's the index. Yeah, so, and then if I come down to their serialize lexical example, not a single use client in here either. But I do know that if we go to their form, if I can find it. Okay, not helpful. App. Still not helpful, so we need to go to blocks form. Nope, I need to go to components. Blocks, okay, form. I'm getting there. I just feel so slow in my brain right now. And the form is use client. Then they have their rich text, which is from up a level, components, rich text, which again, if we look at it, not a single use client. So that is not actually what is going on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this up because this is starting to break up here a little bit. So the issue that we're facing, and I guess actually let's do the to-do real quick. I am not going to commit this because I think if somebody like actually wanted to use this, it would be broken, and that is not a great experience. So for example, I open this up. Well, it's compiling. Give it a second, but it's going to compile to this jumbled mess of errors. And this is typically an error that I get when a client component or a server component is used within a client component. But the problem is, I don't think that's the problem. So if we come, especially since it was just working. So hold on. So let's just get rid of this real quick. You can keep that. Get rid of you. Get rid of you. Yeah. There's something wacky happening right now. So that should not have fixed anything, because if the error was truly in like the form and in the FAQ block and in the table of contents, why is this working now? And if I go to contact, for some reason that opened in a new tab, but let's go here. We've got contact us, that just opens up automatically. Here's the form. This is use client. Y'all saw it. And here is our rich text. So this is a good place to wrap it up and come here. So we need to finish this. So we're going to continue adding, and the next time we'll do adding that blog feed with categories, which means that in here we need to get the query blog working. And then that means pulling in, well, I should be able to actually do this. So hold on, const. Oh, hold on. Oh, yeah, that's right. So I did const categories. We can do props dot feed category dot map, do category, get that category type in, then we can do category dot slug. Then here I can do log category categories. If I go over here to real estate, I see real estate there. And then I should be able to just do blog query there. And then of course, when I add this back in, I think this is what's going to break. It sure will. So that's what we'll figure out next time. So we can come here. I guess we can bring this back down to 2. I already did. I added this new relationship field. No, I didn't. Oh, okay. So what we'll do, let's do to do fix blog feed issues, question mark. And then I think what we can do, yes, so that's good. Let's come over to our categories. I think category is going to be under our collections. Categories. Categories. Okay. So what I want to add, I already have related docs. Is that what I wanted to do? Let me reread this. So I do still think we're going to use a new collection, new industry collection, and then we'll do a new relationship field for posts to show up on industry pages, in which case we may just do a join field instead of what we're trying to do here. Yeah, we'll see. Or a new join field. Or just do below and don't add a blog feed. The problem though is that I want that blog feed for any time that we might add a new type of collection. Things like hold on. Did I broke something, I'm sure of it. Oh, that's TSX and TS. Okay. So it's okay. We'll come back to all of this. So sorry, I was looking over at the code there for a second. So what I'd like to do is have the ability to drop a block in that just you can check off which box you want for which feed you want. So if I have a blog feed, or if I have a portfolio feed, or I have like webinars, white papers, anything like that, I want to be able to just check a box that says I want this feed in my layout. And then that feed should then be able to query based on that feed type the category of what I want. And so for some reason that's not working. I guess I just need to decompress and think about it some. So we'll call it quits here. Thanks everyone for watching. If you enjoyed this, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel. Like the content. Maybe don't share this one. This one could probably stay between us. I don't think anybody else wants to see this one. But for those who stuck around the whole time, thank you for watching me struggle through all of that. Hopefully you learned something, even if it's what not to do. But I'll wrap this up. I'll call it quits. We'll reconvene. I'm thinking probably Wednesday. I'll hop on and we'll continue with this part of the project. But there's so many things that I want to do. So tomorrow I've got a new video dropping that's going to be how to render your blocks on the front end using NextJS. It's been highly requested, so be on the lookout for that. It comes out tomorrow, 8 a.m. on Eastern Standard Time, so check that out when it comes out. But for now, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.